أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to LQ Milton, class number 36. Inshallah, we started book 2 couple of weeks ago, and we are progressing with lesson number 2. In lesson number 2, we met with Laisa. What is the meaning of Laisa? The meaning of Laisa is he is not or it is not. Okay. Few things that we had established with respect to Laisa was that number 1, it is a verb, fail. But having said that, it is a deficient verb, and the example or the concept that we learned in the last class was there are verbs which are called fe'lun ta'ammun or complete verbs. Efficient verbs are those verbs where there is no ambiguity, the action has been performed by the doer of the action. For example, if I say jalasa, he sat, there is no more to say to it. The person, he sat. But with respect to Laisa, when I say it's a verb, he is not or it is not, then my mind is wondering he is not what or it is not what, right. So, therefore, Laisa we put it into a category of fe'lun naqisun. It is deficient. It is deficient. Similarly, for fe'lu ta'ammun, they have the past tense and then they have the fe'l mudare, which is the present tense. But for Laisa, it only comes in one form. It does not have the mudare form. So, therefore, we call Laisa static, jamid, jamidun or static. Jalasa yajlisu, zahaba yazhabu, right. Those are fe'lu ta'ammun, efficient verbs. With Laisa, it only comes in one form. So, it is static or we call it jamid. Now, when we are talking about fe'lu ta'ammun, there is an action and there is a doer of the action, the fail and the file. We know that. With Laisa, since it is deficient and when it comes into the sentence, we are looking for ismu laysa. We are looking for ismu laysa. Now we are not looking at the doer of the action, even though the same rules apply as for the doer of the action in fe'lu tammun, but instead of saying it fa'il, we call it ismu laysa. Ismu laysa, and ismu laysa is marfu. In a normal verb, we know the files, they are always marfu. Similarly, for laysa, which is a verb, the ismu laysa will be marfu. But then after figuring it out ismu laysa, we should also look for khabar laysa. He is not, first we identify ismu laysa, and then the predicate, he is not what. Then we are looking for predicate khabar laysa, and khabar laysa is mansoob, or it can come with harf jar bi, right. It can come with other harf jar as well, but mostly with harf jar bi. We will do some exercises. For example, let me say Hamidun muhandisun, right. Hamidun muhandisun. Hamid is an engineer. So, I am trying to explain how the khabar laysa could be mansoob or could come with harf jar bi. Now, I want to say Hamid is not an engineer. So, I say Hamidun laysa bi muhandi sin. Jar majroor, of course, we are looking for some majroor which is majroor. So, if I say Hamidun laysa bi muhandi sin, this is a khabar laysa coming with harf jar bi. Now, if I remove bi from this sentence, from the khabar laysa, if I remove bi, then it will become immediately mansoob. Then I say Hamidun laysa muhandi san, mansoob, right. At this point, that is all we need to remember, but keep in mind that there are 5 types of khabar. Okay. So, as we progress in our studies, more flavors will come from khabar laysa, but from the high level, this is what we need to know. Hamidun laysa bi muhandisin or Hamidun laysa muhandisan. That's what we are saying here. The basic concept of khabar laysa, and ismu laysa is marfu. Today we will try to culminate few concepts which have been confusing for most of the students, because we are talking about this jumla ismiya, jumla fe'liya, we talk about fail, file, we talk about ismu inna, khabar inna, laysa, ismu laysa, khabar laysa, kana, ismu kana, khabar kana. So, we will try to understand by using this chart here how this thing applies in a sentence. What is a normal sequence of a verbal sentence? Normal sequence, most of the time there is a fail, the action, then there is a subject or the doer of the action, the person who is performing the action comes after the fail. Very important. First the action comes, then comes the doer of the action, and sometimes the object, the maf'ulun bihi, will come in the sentence. This is a normal sequence of a verbal sentence. Similar concept or similar sequence is applicable on laysa or kana. Kana is also a verb. We have not done kana yet, but we just moving forward. Similar concept. Now, instead of subject, first will come laysa, then will come exactly ismu laysa, and after that khabar laisa. This is the normal sequence of jumla felia in laisa form. Laisa, then ismu laisa, then khabar laisa. Let's take two examples. Zahaba Hamidun ilal masjidi. What kind of sentence is that? It's a verbal sentence. Why? Because the sentence begins with the verb. So keep in mind that what is the normal sequence of a verbal sentence? Zahaba is your verb, your fail, then comes the subject or the doer of the action, and it is marfu. And any ism in the verbal sentence which is marfu, even though it comes right after the fail, or it can comes at the end of the fail of the sentence, we know that it is your file. So Hamidun is the file, the doer of the action, and ilal masjidi is jarun wa majrurun. This is what jumla felia is. Same sentence in a nominal sentence form or a jumla ismiya form, Hamidun zahaba ilal masjidi. What kind of sentence is that? Ismiya. Where is the mubtada? Hamidun. Hamidun. And then zahaba ilal masjidi is coming as a khabar for Hamid. Now, in this sentence, where is the file? Hamidun. In this sentence, where is the file? No, not Hamidun. Mustatir, Zahaba, because Hamid is Mubtada. See this normal sequence of verbal sentence? Fail, file, and mafulun bihi. So in this case, we cannot say that Hamid is the file, because this is a nominal sentence. This is where most of the students get confused. Hamid is not the file. Hamid is Mubtada. Right? So Zahaba, then this is a complete jumla felia, Zahaba ilal masjidi. Now we have to find the fail file in this sentence. Zahaba, file is mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. He went to the masjid. We can say Zahaba, file, mustatir, hidden, taqdiruhu huwa, or file can be apparent in the sentence as well if this is the case. We can also say yadullu ala Hamid if we want to say, which means it points to or it indicates towards Hamid. Huwa indicates to Hamid. In hindsight, huwa indicates to Hamid. So we can say Zahaba, file, mustatir, taqdiruhu, estimation of it is huwa yudullu ala Hamid. It points towards or indicates towards Hamid, but Hamid is not the file. Hamid is Mubtada. This is what most of the students get confused. So keeping this concept in mind, let's move on. Let's look at nominal sentence. Mubtada, the subject, we know it is marfu. Marfu. And khabar, if it is one word, for sake of simplicity, if khabar if is one word, then it is also marfu. We know that. We have learned that in book 1, right? So this is a nominal sentence. Marfu, mubtada is marfu and khabar is marfu. Now, when inna enters, which is book 2 lesson 1, inna enters into nominal sentence or jumla ismiya, then what will happen? Mubtada will become ismu inna, and ismu inna is mansoob. It will change the mubtada into ismu inna and it will become mansoob. And what will happen to khabar inna? Khabar inna will be marfu. Khabar inna will be called marfu, right? So this is what inna does. Laisa. Now what is inna? Inna is a particle, Remember, inna is a particle. Whereas Laisa and Kana are verbs. This is a confusion most students have. Laisa is Felun, Naqisun, wa Jamidun, and we know what that means. So when Laisa, which is comes in a sentence, it will automatically become a Jumla Felia. It will automatically become Jumla Felia, and when it becomes Jumla Felia, then we have to look at the normal sequence. Now, first Laisa will come, which is the verb. Then we look for Ismu Laisa. Then we look for Khabar Laisa. Right? Ismu Laisa is Marfu, opposite of Inna. Opposite of Inna. Ismu Laisa is Marfu, and then Khabar Laisa is Mansub, or it can come with Harf Jar Bi. But for sake of simplicity, we will say Khabar Laisa is Mansub. Right? Same impact Kana would have. Kana comes in. Kana is a fail. Failu Naqisin is also. What is the meaning of Kana? He was not. But we'll do Kana. Kana comes in the Quran all the time. But this is not the time for us to learn about Kana. I'm just bringing it up. Kana, we look for Ismu Kana, Marfu, and then Khabar Kana will be Mansub. So Laisa and Kana, they are sisters, because they both have Ism, and Ismu Laisa, Ismu Kana, both will be Marfu, and then the Khabar Laisa and Khabar Kana will be Mansub. They are sisters. At this time, that's all we need to know. But keep in mind, Khabar is of 5 types. Khabar is of type, because if we go a bit more, one more step, then we will confuse ourselves, right? But this is for general understanding. This is where the most students get confused. Let's take an example. A normal nominal sentence. Hamidun Muhandisun. Hamid is an engineer. Inna comes into a nominal sentence. What happens to Hamid? Mubtada. It will convert into Ismu Inna. Ismu Inna Mansub. Inna Hamidan Muhandisun. What is Khabar Inna? Marfu. What kind of sentence is that? Nominal sentence, right? Because Inna always enters into nominal sentence, Jumla Ismiya. Now we want to say Hamid is not an engineer, right? We say Hamidun Laisa Muhandisan, or I can also say Hamidun Laisa bi Muhandi Sin, Muhandi Sin, right? But for the sake of simplicity, since we have already said that it is Mansub, or it can come with Harf Jar, we say Muhandisan, or I can say both with Harf Jar Bi or with Mansub form. Now, Hamid, what kind of Jumla is this? Ismiya, right? First thing we have to, whenever we are looking at a sentence, first thing we have to establish is whether this is a nominal sentence or it's a verbal sentence. If it starts with a verb, verbal sentence. If it starts with an ism, it's a nominal sentence, Jumla Ismiya. Hamid is your Mubtada. Hamid is your Mubtada. But Laisa Muhandisan is your verbal sentence coming as a Khabar for Hamid. So if Laisa comes, what are we looking for? The normal sequence. First we will say Laisa is there, then we will start to look for Ism Laisa, then we will start to look for Khabar Laisa, right? So Laisa, so I'm just going to put a line here, because Hamid we already established is the Mubtada. Where is the Ismu Laisa? Mustatir. Taqdiruhu huwa yudullu ala Hamid. That's another step, right? It points to or indicates towards Hamid. And where is the Khabar Laisa? Muhandisan. Khabar Laisa is Mansub. This is a concept that most students get confused, but it comes with practice. So if we understand these basic rules, the normal sequence of verbal sentence, the mubtada, khabar, for a nominal sentence and verbal sentence and everything, then things will start to make more sense. We can now take a picture and already done. Jazakallah. So now we are doing lesson number 2. We'll do some exercises about Laisa and we'll try to enforce this concept that we learned here. So we are starting the lessons Tamarin on page number 14 of the old book. Number 1, Ajib anil as'ilatil atiyati, answer the following questions. So there are 3 questions and the answer should come from the lesson that we covered in the last class. Min aina Hashim, where is Hashim from? Hashim was from Huwa minal wilayatil muttahidati, he is from United States. Min aina Hashim, huwa minal walayatil muttahidati. So that is the answer, so just write it down. Then the next question is min ayyu madinatu huwa, from which city he is from? And he is from New York, because he said inni min New Yorker, so we can say huwa min New Yorker, he is from New York. Number 3, kam ukhtan lahu, how many sisters he has? Lahu salasa, okay, yeah, he has 3 sisters. Lahu salasu akhwatin, he has 3 sisters. It's page number 14 of the book. Lesson number 2, very exercise number 2. Da, put hazihil alamati, this sign, the check mark sign, amam al jumla sahih, in front of the correct sentence. Wa hazal alamati, and this sign, the cross, amam al jumla allati laysat, in front of a sentence laysat, which is not sahih, which is not correct. Number 1, Hashimun min Washington, no, he is from New York, he is not from Washington, so put a cross mark there. Akhawatuhu muslimatun, yes, that is correct, so we put a check mark there. Banatuhu lasna bi mutazawwijatin, is it true? Yes. It is true, yes, hunna lasna bi mutazawwijatin, so it is true, so we put a check mark there. Abna'uhu tullabin, abna'uhu tullabun, his sons, are they students? Tullabun, his sons, are they students? No, some of them are tujjarun and some of them are muhandisuna, engineers, so we put a cross mark there. Number 5, ummuhu laysat bi muslimatin, his mother is not Muslim, that is correct, his mother is not Muslim, so we put a check mark there. Now ummuhu, what kind of sentence is? Nominal sentence. Where is the mubtada? Ummu. Wa huwa mudaf, hu mudaf alay. Laysat bi muslimatin is your verbal sentence coming as a khabar for ummu, right? Laysat bi muslimatin, what are we looking for? Normal sequence. Laysa, where is the ismu laysa? Mustatir, taqdiruhu hiya, hiya, and bi muslimatin is your khabar laisa. Abuhu muslimun, his father is Muslim. No, that is wrong, so we put the cross mark. Tambal ma yali, this is a beautiful exercise. Tambal ma yali, ponder the following. Hamidun talibun, Hamid is a student. Now we want to say Hamid is not a student. We say Hamidun laisa bi talibin. Hamid is not a student. Hamid is your mubtada, laisa bi talibin is your verbal sentence coming as a khabar for Hamid. Laisa, where is the ismu laisa? Mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. We can also say yudullu ala Hamid, bi talibin, khabar laisa. Now remove bi from bi talibin. What will happen to the sentence? We say laisa taliban, then it becomes mansoob, khabar laisa mansoob. Remove b from there, taliban. At-tullabu sigharun, the students are minor. At-tullabu laisu bi sigharin, the students are not minors. Right now, where is the mubtada? At-tullabu laisu bi sigharin. Where is the ismu laisa? Wow, al wow is the ismu laisa, right? And bi sigharin is khabar laisa. Laisa, laisa, laisu, laisat, laisata, lasna, lasta, lastuma, lastum, lasti, lastuma, lastunna, lastu, lasna. So only in laisa and laisat the ismu laisa is mustatir. Otherwise, in the 12 we can identify ismu laisa, just like we can identify fa'il in fe'lu ta'ammun. So laisu bi sigharin, laisu, laisa comes, wow is the ismu laisa. Is it marfu? Yes, it is marfu. And b, right, and bi sigharin is khabar laisa. Next one, Aminatu tabibatun, Amina is a doctor. Aminatu laisat bi tabibatin, we know what that means. Laisat ismu laisa mustatir, taqdiruhu hiya yadullu ala Amina. Next one, al fatayatu mutazawwijatun, the young ladies are married. Al fatayatu lasna bi mutazawwijatun, mutazawwijatin, bi mutazawwijatin, the young ladies are not married. Al fatayatu is your mubtada, lasna, where is ismu laisa? Na, na is the ismu laisa, and bi mutazawwijatin is your khabar laisa. Anta kabirun, anta becomes lasta, lasta bi kabirin. Antum jududun, lastum bi jududin. Anti faqiratun, lasti bi faqiratin. Antunna mujtahidatun, lastunna bi mujtahidatin. Ana mudarrisun, lastu bi mudarrisin. Nahnu tullabun, lasna bi tullabin. Now starting from anta all the way to nahnu, can we identify ismu laisa? Yes, lasta, ta is the ismu laisa. Lastum, tum is the ismu laisa. Lasti, ti is the ismu laisa. Lastunna, tunna is the ismu laisa. Lastu, tu is the ismu laisa. Lasna, na is the ismu laisa. And then for each one of them, the harf jar bi with ism majroor is your khabar laisa. Okay, so that is clear. Exercise number 4. Adkhil, enter laisa alal jumlal atiyati in the following sentences. Now we have to look at the sentence and we have to enter the laisa there. Al babu mughlaqun, al babu mughlaqun, the door is closed. Now I want to say the door is not closed, so I say al babu laisa bi mughlaqin, bi mughlaqin. So al babu laisa bi mughlaqin. Next one, al ma'u baridun, the water is cold. I want to say the water is not cold, right? So al ma'u laisa bi baridin. Hashimun maridun, Hashim is sick. Sorry, Hishamun maridun, Hisham is sick. I want to say Hisham is not sick. Hishamun laisa bi maridin. Very simple. Abi naimun, my father is sleeping. I want to say my father is not sleeping. I say Abi laisa bi naimin. Ad-darsu sabun, the lesson is difficult. Not true, but we can say that. Ad-darsu sabun, the lesson is difficult. I want to say the lesson is not difficult. Ad-darsu laisa bi sabin. Al-masjidu qaribun, al-masjidu laisa bi qaribin. And the last one, 7, at-tiflu jav'anu, the child is hungry. I want to say the child is not hungry. At-tiflu laisa bi jav'ana. Now jav'anu, there is a single dhamma there, which means it is a diptote. Al-mamnu min as-sarf. So we know with diptotes they can only decline up to a certain extent, certain degree. So al-jav'anu in its mansoob form will be al-jav'anu, and then its majroor form will be al-jav'anu, right? So I can say at-tiflu laisa bi jav'ana, but my mind knows then since jav'ana is coming with harf jar bi, it is in a majroor form. Number 5, iqra al-masalaini, read the 2 examples. Summa, then, adkhil, enter, laisa alal jumla al-atiyati, on the following sentences. Now this is a mixed bag. Huwa tajirun, he is a merchant. I want to say he is not a merchant. I say huwa laisa bitajirin, huwa laisa bitajirin. Huwa min al yabani, he is from Japan. I want to say he is not from Japan, so I say huwa laisa min al yabani. Now here B is not used, the other harf jar is used, which is fine. Huwa laisa min al yabani, he is not from Japan. Let's do the exercise. As-sayyaratu jamilatun, as-sayyaratu jamilatun, the car is beautiful. Okay, now watch, because as-sayyaratu is feminine. Okay, so we have to bring in the proper form of laisa in a feminine form. As-sayyaratu laisat bi jamilatin, right? Laisa, laisu, laisat. As-sayyaratu laisat bi jamilatin. Very good. Ana ghaniyun, I am rich. I want to say I am not rich, so I say ana becomes lastu, right? Ana lastu bi ghaniyin, I am not rich. Now just for the sake of it, when I say ana lastu bi ghaniyin, remove harf jar bi from the sentence, what will happen? Then I say ana lastu ghaniyan, mansoob, ghaniyan. Okay, just to reinforce it. Anta faqirun, you are poor. I want to say you are not poor, so say anta lasta bi faqirin. Hiya min al iraqi, she is from Iraq. I want to say she is not from Iraq, so I say hiya laisat min al iraqi. Nahnu askiyau, we are intelligent. Nahnu askiyau, I want to say we are not intelligent, then we say nahnu lasna bi askiya in, as askiyai, actually askiya. Now see, there is a single dhamma there, it's a diptote, exactly. No, it's not askiyaun, it's askiyau. So this is my clue here, that askiyau is a diptot, al mamnu min as-sarf. So I say nahnu lasna bi askiyaa, just like al jav'anu, huwa azabun, he is a bachelor. I want to say he is not a bachelor, huwa laisa bi azabin. Al mudarrisuna fil fusuli, the teachers are in the classes. Al mudarrisuna, now bring the proper form, laisu, right, laisu fil fusuli. Where is the ismu laisa? Waw is the ismu laisa, and fil fusuli is your khabar laisa. Now I know sometimes we will come across some sentences where a different harjar is used. Okay, there is something more to laisa with respect to khabar laisa, but providing that information will confuse. Okay, so if we see khabar laisa with a different harjar, then be accepted for now, but later on we will learn a bit more about khabar laisa. Anti zakiyatun, I want to say you are not intelligent. Anti lasti bi zakiyatin. Antum kibarun, antum lastum bi kibarin. At-talibatu fil maktabati, at-talibatu lasna fil maktabati. Now you see, when we are bringing either lasna or laisu or lastum or lasti or lastu or lasna, different, it may confuse some students. Here is a tip. Okay, when we read the sentence, and the sentence is jumla ismiya, we are looking for mubtada. First we have to think about, is this mubtada a first person, is this mubtada a second person or a third person? First figure that out. So when I say at-talibatu fil maktabati, the female students are in the library, so I am talking about female student first, and they are plurals, right, and they are third person because they are in the library, right. So these three clues, once I understand these three clues, then I say, okay, I imagine my conjugation of laisa and I say, okay, so this is the hunna form. Hunna is feminine, is plural, right, and it is third person. So then I say at-talibatu lasna fil maktabati, lasna. But if I say anta fil maktabati, you are in the library. If I say you are not in the library, then I say anta is, okay, it's singular, I got it, it's second person, got it, and it's second person masculine, right. So anta will become lasta. So I say antum lasta fil maktabati, you are not in library. Antunna talibatun jududun. Now antunna, second person, feminine, plural. I say antunna lastunna bi antunna lastunna bi talibatin, and jududun will become jududin, because what is jududun here? Naat, and naat and manut has to match in case ending. right? Case ending. So jududun will become jududin. Antunna lastunna bi talibatin jududin. Number 6, Ajib anil as'ilatil atiyati, answer the following questions bin nafi, in negation, musta'milan, using laysa. Okay. Number 1, amuhandisun abuka, is your father an engineer? And I have to answer it by saying no, he is not an engineer, right? So I want to say no, my father is not an engineer. So I say la, harful jawab, I can bring that. Abi, now I'm talking about abi, my father. Is it singular? Yes. Is it first person, second person, or third person? Third person, right? So I use laisa. La abi laisa bi muhandi sin. Remove b from this sentence, muhandi san. Number 2, mudarrisatun ummuka, is your mother a teacher? I want to say no, same thing, la ummi laysat bi mudarrisatin. Number 3, atullabun ikhwatuka, are your brothers students? I say la, no, because Dr. Saab is asking us to answer the following questions in negation using mustamilan laysa. So I say no, they are not students. So I say la ikhwati. Now ikhwati, plural? Yes, plural, more than 2, right? Plurals. Third person? Yes, third person. So what should I bring? Laysu. Laysu bi tullabin. Where is the ismu laysa in laysu bi tullabin? Tullabin, wow. Wow is the ismu laysa, and bi tullabin is your khabar laysa. Amummarridatun akhawatuka, are your sisters nurses? I want to say no, they are not nurses. So I say la, harful jawab. Akhawati, my sisters. Lasna bi mumarridatin, they are not nurses. Mudarrisun anta, are you a teacher? I will say no, I am not a teacher. La ana lastu, right? Lastu bi mudarrisin. Jududu antum, are you new? I say no, we are not new. Are you all new? Now I want to say we are not new. We say la nahnu lasna bi jududin. Jadidatun sayyaratuka, is your car new? I say la sayyarati, my car, sayyarati, my car. Laysat, because it is a feminine, singular, third person. Bi jadidatin. Number 7, biwajahul mudarris ila kulli min at-tullabi as'ilatil yakunu jawabuha bin nafi wa yuraddu alayha at-talibu musta'milan lastu, using lastu. Nahu, for example, Amin America anta, are you from America? Now I have to say I am not from America. So I say la ana lastu min America. Mutazawwijun anta, la ana lastu bi mutazawwijin. Maridun anta, la ana lastu bi maridin. But this sentence is Dr. Saab is bi wajahil mudarris ala kulli. Dr. Saab is asking, this is a verbal exercise. What Dr. Saab is asking, the teacher will stand up and ask each student these questions, and the student are supposed to answer back. But we are online, so we cannot do that. But we'll just do it in a normal way. Muhandisun anta, are you an engineer? La ana lastu bi muhandisin. No, I am not an engineer. Number 8, Ikra al misal. Read the example. Summa, then adkhil, enter inna ala jumla al atiyati, and enter inna in the following in the answers, following answers. Okay. Li salasu akhawatin. I have 3 akhawatin, sisters. Asluhu salasu akhwatin li. Now, what Dr. Saab is trying to say is that in the first sentence, the jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar comes before the mubtada, khabar muqaddam. This is the proper way of saying it when it comes to harf jar li, belonging to, sisters, brothers, sons, father, mother relationship. This is the proper way. Aslahu, technically it is supposed to be salasu akhawatin li, but that's not how we say it. If you remember this part, that's fine. If you don't remember this piece, that's perfectly fine. These books were basically designed and written for students. Initially, the purpose of these books were for non-Arabic speaking students, so that they can converse better, right? But then there is so much grammar in it. We use those grammatical concepts, learn them, and apply it into Quran. Okay, so this is not important from our objective perspective. Inna li salasa akhwatin. Now bring inna into this sentence, this first sentence. Salasu was the mubtada, right? Li salasu akhwatin. Li was jarun majrurun shibu jumla khabar muqaddam, and salasu was your mubtada muakhar, right? Mubtada. So when inna comes into this sentence, we know inna will change mubtada into ismu inna mansub. So salasu will become salasa. Inna li salasa akhwatin. Now let's do the exercise. Fil fasli khamsatu tullabin jududin. In our class there are 5 new students. Okay, bring inna into the sentence. Okay, fil fasli, before we do that, fil fasli khamsatu tullabin jududin. In our class there are 5 new students. What is fil fasli? Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar muqaddam. It preceded the, and we know it can happen. Where is the mubtada? Khamsatu. Okay, now the minute inna enters into this sentence, khamsatu will become khamsata, because we know inna will change mubtada. Even though it is muakhar, this mubtada will become mansub. So khamsatu will become khamsata. So when we write our answer, we say inna fil fasli khamsata tullabin, and what happened to jududin? Jududun will become jududin, because it is the naat, right? It's the naat. Inna fil fasli khamsata. So the only change that is happening right now, khamsatu will become khamsata when inna enters into this jumla. Lana mudarrisun jayyidun. Our teacher is good, and I want to bring in inna here. Inna comes, what will this be the only change? Mudarrisun will become mudarrisan. Inna, ismu inna mansub, and khabar inna marfu. Mudarrisun will become mudarrisan. Fi jaybi mi'atu riyalin. I have 100 riyal in my pocket, right? Bring inna fi jaybi. Mi'atu was the mubtada. Mi'atu will become miyata, because it is now ismu inna now. Mubtada will become ismu inna now, right? Riyalin. Fil Hindi anharun kasiratun. In India there are many rivers. Anhar means rivers. Inna fil Hindi anharun kasiratun. Bring inna in there. Inna fil hindi anha run. Anharun will become anharan, and what will happen to kasiratun? Kasiratan, because it is a naat, and naat and manut, they need to match in case ending. Laka barqiyatun fi maktabil barid. There is a telegram for you in the post office. Bring inna in there. Inna laka barqiya tan fi maktabil baridi, in the post office. That's all we are doing here. So what Dr. Saab is trying to teach us, even though in some sentences the mubtada is muakhar, comes after the khabar, but as soon as the inna enters, even though they are after, they are not right after inna, it will become mansoob because it is ismu inna now. The last one is li alfu dolarin fil masrafi. I have $1,000 in the bank. Do we still send telegrams? I don't think telegrams are done. Yeah, I think the last telegram was done 5, 6, 7 years ago and obsolete now. Li alfu dolarin fil masrafi. I have $1,000 in the bank and I want to bring inna here. So alfu will become alfa. Inna li alfa dolarin fil masrafi. Al kalimatul jadidatu. Liqaun, meeting, to meet. Jayyidin, jayyidun, good. Jaibun, jama is juyubun, which means pocket. Nahrun, river. Anharun, rivers. Barqiyatun, telegram. Barqiyatun, telegrams. Masrifun, bank. Masarifu, banks. Maktabul baridi, post office. And that brings us end to lesson number 2, alhamdulillah. And in lesson number 3 we will learn about ismu tafdeel. We will revise tamyiz. So it's an interesting lesson, inshallah. With that, we'll finish our class. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. In nasina aw akhtana. In nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.